Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Let's begin our meeting. We welcome you to this August 27 meeting of the Board of Commissioners of the City of Richmond, Kentucky, and happy that you are here this evening for this meeting. Before we begin, let me mention, and I always forget it, that in the little pocket right behind the city attorney there are copies of the agenda of tonight's meeting. So if you'd like to have one of those, just slip up and grab one of those, and be easier, a little bit easier for you to follow along with us. We do have, as I won't call any names, Commissioner Goebel has said, it is a lengthy agenda, so we're going to try to move as expeditiously as possible. I'm going to ask at this time that, there's my friend, the Reverend Mary Metzger, pastor of the St. Thomas Lutheran Church, will come and lead us in the invocation.
It's a good thing my prayers are short, right? Please join me in prayer. Sovereign God, we give thanks for this day, for the city of Richmond, its citizens, and our leaders. Make your presence known in truthful speech and bold witness. Remind us of our interconnectedness. God of wisdom, guide our leaders to act justly for the sake of this community. Bring about fruitful conversation amongst your people, and bring about change where you see fit. Sustain this commission in their deliberation and decision-making. We lift our prayer to you, gracious and merciful God. Receive it into your holy keeping. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor. We are honored to have a local scout with us to lead the Pledge of Allegiance. Representing Troop 401 is Mr. Briar Ferguson, Scout First Class. He's an honor student at Madison Central High School, where he is in his freshman year. In addition to scouting, Briar is a member of the archery team and the track and field team. Thank you, Briar, for leading our Pledge of Allegiance. Please proceed. And let me say this. We have guests who come all the time for our pledge. You may notice each time, Lisa, that I do not stand until the one who leads us asks us to stand. Just
call everybody out.
It may be a sign, Brian. No, it's just me. Thank you. Welcome, sir.
Will everybody please rise for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Brian, if you will remain there. I do that so as not to steal their thunder. And one time that the guest has the opportunity to exert a little authority by simply saying, will everyone please stand. Briar, let's see here. I understand that perhaps some folks have put a little fear into you before this evening, that you will probably be asked a question. Let's see here. Let's make it easy for you. What has been your favorite activity in scouting?
Probably going to summer camp, because you get to learn a bunch of people from all over the country. And I think 2 years ago, there was kids that went to Germany there, and we got to meet them. That was really cool.
So the summer camp, super. Thank you. Commend you for it. Did you hear him? Yes. And we commend you for your commitment to scouting and what that's going to mean in the days and the years to come. Bless you, son.
I can't see your shirt, buddy. What rank are you?
First class.
First class.
First class.
Star Life and Eagle, you'll be there, right? All right. Keep it up.
Thank you, Briar. We'll call the meeting to order. Madam Clerk, please call roll.
Commissioner Brewer, Commissioner Cole.
Here.
Commissioner Goble.
Here.
Commissioner Newby.
Here.
Mayor Blythe.
Here, thank you. If Carrie Hensley will come forward, please. Community Development Coordinator, New Business Coordinator. Good evening again, Carrie.
Good evening. I'm Carrie Lee Hensley, Small Business and Economic Development Coordinator. And tonight's new business we're going to recognize is Commonwealth Credit Union. We have Christy Jones with Business Development and Michelle Tucker, Branch Manager. They're going to come up and tell us about Commonwealth Credit Union.
Good evening.
Good evening.
As Carrie said, I'm Christy Jones. I'm Business Development for Commonwealth Credit Union. And for those of you that are not familiar with us, we started in 1951. We were a state employee credit union. Our headquarters is in Frankfort. We are new to Richmond. We just had our grand opening last month. So why a credit union? We are not-for-profit. Our board of directors are volunteers, and we are owned by our members. We are a full-service financial institution, so we have everything from your checking and savings accounts to auto loans and mortgages. We also have our own financial education department, and they partner with our schools and some employers who become our business partners. So our location here is at 108 Meridian Way. This location has, we have partnered with Make-A-Wish. And for those of you that know the Dorman family, this toy closet was in honor of Cody Dorman. So our mission of bettering lives, because one thing that some people don't know about our organization is how much we give back to our communities. Our mission of bettering lives calls us to support our local nonprofits and charities. And just last year, we gave back $29 million. We're very active with our community partners. Some of those are the American Heart Association, the American Red Cross, Baptist Health, the YMCA, and as I mentioned, Make-A-Wish. And also here in Richmond, we've already started creating an impact as we gave, I want to make sure I read this so I don't get it wrong, but last month we donated $550 to Baptist Health Richmond to support the development of a state-of-the-art simulation lab, in addition of 5 high-fidelity simulation mannequins. Aside from our donation and through our partnership with Baptist Health Richmond and Foothills Express, patients in this region will now face easier access to care, and the service will provide invaluable transportation resources to patients who face hardships in getting to and from their appointments. Also last year, we donated $1 million to EKU in the establishment of a new certificate program in financial technology and cybercrime. So we're excited to be here in Richmond, and we're just very excited to partner with the community. Thank you.
Good to see you again.
Sorry, guys. We got 2 cameras tonight. Thank you.
And let me say this, at the ribbon cutting a couple of weeks or so ago, it was really interesting because when it was made known that there already here in the Richmond-Madison County area, 3,000 customers already of Commonwealth Credit Union. And the other thing interesting that happened while we were there, an employee of the city of Richmond happened to drive up excited because she says, now I don't have to drive to Lexington. She came to do some business. So welcome again.
Thank you.
And also, we again welcome a gentleman who has labored and labored and labored, and not too many months ago was able to see result of his labors, and with so many other folks in the community, of course, the Congress and to come to the point that was desired by the world with the storage of chemical weapons here at the Bluegrass Army Depot. Let me welcome my friend, Craig Williams, and he's going to make a presentation for us tonight. I think he's styled here as the host community liaison.
Thank you, Mayor.
Evening, Craig.
Mayor's not a bad guy either, so I just want to point that out. He has done a great job representing the community and the city and the NAACP, and he's been several different labels working with the Governor's Commission that I chair and the advisory board, which I co-chair with the county judge. So I appreciate his involvement, and he's been a great representative for you all. Hey, Mindy. So I'm going to, since you all know brevity is my strong point, and you've got a lot on your agenda, so I'll try to walk through this fairly quickly. We are in the closure phase. As you know, the chemical weapons have all been destroyed. The closure phase right now is dealing with the issues that are up on the screen, and it's a lot of taking apart various parts of the main plant, removing the protective coating from the floors, so on and so forth. So you can see that there are 4 main undertakings currently, but there are a lot more going on than that particular slide might show, but I didn't want to get into too much detail on it. What I do want to point out is the extraordinary safety record that the Bechtel Parsons team, along with the chemical activity, Bluegrass Depot, and anyone else associated with the project maintained and achieved. The fact that 3.5 years of working with explosively configured chemicals that are the most dangerous chemicals on the planet without a single agent accident of any level is extraordinary. And many of the workers are from right here or the nearby surrounding communities. And so to have accomplished that, and even the lost time accidents that did occur were very few. It's like somebody tripped and hurt their wrist or whatever. Hi. And something very minor lost time accidents. In fact, the lost time accident rate at that job was on an equivalent level to a bank teller and an accountant, which have a little bit less dangerous jobs than these folks had. So it was an outstanding safety record, and I can tell you that there is interest by the contractors or their subcontractors to continue doing something here in the community, either on the depot or outside the depot, because they recognize the fact that the community's been so supportive that they want to give back to the community after this project is ultimately complete, which is a ways off yet, and I'll talk to that in a moment. As you can see on the slide, there's been an enormous hours of work and days, almost 5 years without a lost time accident, which is, again, just an extraordinary safety record. The economic impact has been enormous as well. I have some updates from this morning. That this information was given to me in early July, I had updates this morning, and so some of the numbers have changed, but not significantly. The current employment is now 1,189. The closure is a little over 50% complete now. The amount of money spent on Kentucky corporations, of course, has increased somewhat, and as has the millions of dollars spent in the Bluegrass Area Development District, and the payroll, which is extraordinary for a project in central Kentucky, is now up to $1.362 billion has been paid in payroll associated with this project. So it's been an enormous undertaking, both safety-wise, internationally, and payroll-wise. The current status within the closure context is as follows. Anything in that footprint of the facility that came into contact with agent in any way, shape, or form will be demolished. It'll be decontaminated first. It'll pass the rigorous monitoring standards that show it has been cleaned, and then it will be demolished and taken off-site to a waste facility. The utility stations, generators, and other components within the footprint that have not been touched by agent, some will remain, some will be shipped off, some will be destroyed. That is going to be left up to the discretion of the program who ran the project, as well as the Bluegrass Army Depot command structure and their superiors, the Joint Material Command up in Rock Island, Illinois. So there's going to be, the estimated value of the remaining infrastructure is going to be over $1 billion. So there will be assets left over once this project is done. The supercritical water oxidation units, I'm sure everyone is familiar with supercritical water oxidation. They're slated for disposal, but there is discussions going on between JMC, the Governor's Commission, our congressional delegation, and so on, to see if we can't find a use for that equipment. Your taxpayer dollars have invested over $300 million into these SCWO units, and currently they're slated to be disposed of. It turns out that supercritical water oxidation is one of the #1 treatment processes for PFAS contamination. PFAS is also known as the forever chemicals because you can't bury it, you can't burn it, but SCWO can treat it. And so we're advocating that the units be disassembled and taken to a location either within the military or outside the military to be used for that purpose, since there's been so much money invested in it. The SDCs, the static detonation chambers that were used, will be removed and disposed of. They have reached close to their operational life. They are still working on certain aspects of the closure phase, which I'll tell you about in a second, and that decision has been made. So the SDCs are going to be gone once their operational mission is complete. Some non-contaminated buildings will remain and to be used at BGAD's discretion. There are a lot of new opportunities that are presenting themselves both for on the depot and off the depot. The Joint Munitions Command did a study last year, right around this time, and they identified 14 opportunities they felt were valued to the depot proper. Missions could be brought into the depot once the chemical weapons disposal mission has exited. And some of those are listed here. Metal shipping containers, critical chemicals, not chemical warfare agent. I emphasize chemicals, they're talking about things like TNT, projectile fuel, not fuel, but explosive components to project, that sort of thing. No more chemicals. No more chemical weapons agent will be at that depot once everything is finished. Security Guard Academy, and there's other very significant and very current discussions going on about specific types of operations that could move in there. Because they're in their pre-decisional and negotiation phase, I'm not able to identify who these people are just yet. I'm dying to do it, but I can't do it. And so there's just a significant amount of opportunity that has been created post D-mill. And this is of great interest to most folks. This is the current Pentagon-approved schedule for what's going on out there. The operations in the main plant up at the top, up at the very top there, operations, those operations are completed. They are in the closure phase, as I showed you some of the things that are going on in the main plant under closure. The SDC 2000 is still treating agent-contaminated rocket warheads. And what that means is there are still molecules of chemical agent at the depot. None of it is explosively configured. It's just residual agent inside these rocket motors. A de minimis amount of agent. It could be anything from just barely over the detectable level to a couple of droplets. Until those munitions are gone, and you can see below, the SDC 1200 is also working on disposing of these agent-contaminated rocket warheads. One of them's working on GB, one of them's working on VX. That surety material has to be disposed of before the operation is certified as complete by both the EPA, the Kentucky Regulatory Authority, and the international treaty folks who were just there in July, as was the CDC. And everybody there's so many agencies involved in this, but on the date shown here is the expected date when all of that surety material will be gone. It's less than a year from now. It's May 25. Once that's done, all the chemical agent that has ever been there in any level will be gone. After that, we have to deal with all of the regulatory hurdles and hoops that we have to go through in order for the final release of the site. And that includes the EPA, the state regulators, the CDC, the international treaty, just a whole National Academy of Sciences. There's just a whole list of federal and state agencies who have to go through their checklist to say everything's been done properly and within the regulatory framework. Once that's done, the project is complete. Now, just real quickly, touching back on the new opportunities, I don't want to mislead people and have them think that there's nothing going on in that realm until we reach the final checklist of these regulatory authorities. There is a lot going on right now as to new operations that can come into the depot, notwithstanding the regulatory checklist being completed. There are prospects for related defense capabilities outside the depot that don't require the security that the depot requires. And so there are a lot of moving pieces, and they're all positive. Bechtel Corporation has been remarkable. They want to give back to this community, and they have taken the lead on recruiting various types of industries to come into Richmond, Madison County, Berea, the whole county. And they've done an extraordinary job. They've put in hundreds of thousands of dollars into this recruitment effort, pro bono. Haven't charged anybody anything. They made a bunch of money doing this. They want to give some back. So I can't say enough about their involvement. And my feeling at the moment is that we are in a very good position to recoup many of these jobs that are going to be leaving, recoup the tax base that provides, and so on, due to a joint effort between the Governor's Commission, the private industry, and the military. So that's my ending optimistic. I'll end it on an optimistic note. So that's my presentation. I'm sorry it took so long, but, I'm not short.
Thank you, Craig.
Thank you, man.
That's important, though. I'm sure there are folks, perhaps even here tonight, who are wondering, where are we now with this thing, since we celebrated some months ago the actual completion? So what next? And appreciate that you would come and give us this kind of update.
It's my pleasure. Thank you so much. Any questions, anybody, or you want me to just leave? Okay, I get it. Thanks,
You
Mike.
did such a good job, we don't have any
Appreciate
questions.
that. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks,
See ya.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa.
All right, let's see here. We have in our packet the minutes from the regular meeting of August 13, the 6 p.m. meeting, and the workshop meeting of August 15 at noon. If you had a chance to review those, maybe have a motion, please, that we will accept those as presented.
I move.
Commissioner Newby,
Second.
Commissioner Goble. Any question, any discussion? There being none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Ayes have it and so ordered. Thank you. Ordinance 24-16, ordinance of the City of Richmond, Kentucky, changing the zoning classification for the property located at 1115 Goggins Lane. This is a second reading. We will vote tonight. Madam Clerk, please.
Whereas on 1326 Barnes Mill LLC and Ramsey Development Project LLC owners have filed with the Richmond Planning and Zoning Commission an application for a zoning map amendment at 1115 Goggins Lane, 6 acres in Richmond, Kentucky, and whereas the property is currently vacant land with a zone classification of agriculture and requesting a PUD, planned unit development, and whereas the Planning and Zoning Commission conducted the public hearing on July 17th, in which it received evidence and testimony from persons in favor of and opposed to the requested zone change, and whereas at the conclusion of the public hearing, the commission voted to recommend that the zone change be granted. And whereas the Planning and Zoning Commission at its meeting adopted written findings of fact as to the zone change, and the issue is now before the Board of Commissioners for final determination. And whereas the Board of Commissioners believes it to be in the public interest that it adopts the recommendation of the Planning and Zoning Commission in accordance with the findings of facts adopted by that body. Now therefore be it ordained that the Board of Commissioners does hereby adopt the recommendation of the Richmond Planning and Zoning Commission as to the requested zone change for 1115 Goggins Lane, 6 acres, Deed Book 783, page 365. The Board of Commissioners does hereby adopt the written findings of facts adopted by the Planning and Zoning Commission as its findings of facts. In accordance with the findings, the zoning of the said property shall be and hereby is changed from vacant land zone classification agriculture to PUD. The Director of Planning and Zoning shall make the appropriate changes to the official map of the city. This ordinance shall become effective immediately following enactment, second reading, and publication in accordance with the requirements of applicable Kentucky law.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. This is ordinance 24-16. This is a second reading. May we have a motion, please, to bring to the floor for discussion and approval?
So moved.
Commissioner Goble, Commissioner Brewer. Is there any discussion?
I just wanted to,
Yes,
I
Commissioner.
don't know if it's discussion, but just for clarification, because I think some folks had looked at the agenda throughout the couple days, and were thinking that we were approving the development of the entire PUD for tonight, and I had some folks ask me about that. So I just want to make sure I'm accurate, and please correct me if I'm not, but it's my understanding that the original development, the large development for the PUD was approved a few years back. I don't know when, but a few years back. And that tonight, we are only approving what I would call a small sliver of that for 6 acres to be added to that development. So if that's correct, I just want to add that clarification for people.
Yes.
That is correct.
Okay, thank you.
Any other question on readiness? All right. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Yes, sir. Commissioner Goble,
Yes.
Commissioner Newby,
No.
Commissioner Brewer,
Yes.
Commissioner Cole,
Yes,
Mayor Blythe.
Yes, thank you. So ordered. Ordinance 24-17, an ordinance of the City of Richmond, Kentucky, changing the zoning classification for the property located on the downtown Summit Street corridor located within the city limits. This is a second reading also. Madam Clerk, please.
Whereas the property owners of 235, 251, 301, 305, 401, 405, and 411 Summit Street have made a petition to preserve their neighborhood by requesting a zone change from R3 multifamily residential to R1 single-family residential zone. And whereas the Planning and Zoning Commission conducted a hearing on July 17th, in course of which it received evidence and testimony from persons in favor of or opposed to the requested zone change. And whereas at the conclusion of that hearing, the Planning and Zoning Commission voted to recommend that the zone change be granted. And whereas the Planning and Zoning Commission at its meeting adopted written findings of facts as to the zone change, and the issue is now before the Board of Commissioners for final determination. And whereas the Board of Commissioners believe it to be in the public interest that it adopts the Planning and Zoning Commission in accordance with the findings of facts adopted by that body. Now therefore be it ordained that the Board of Commissioners does hereby adopt the recommendation of the Planning and Zoning Commission as to the zone change for Summit Street. The Board of Commissioners does hereby adopt the written findings of facts adopted by the Planning and Zoning as its findings of facts. In accordance with those findings, the zoning of the said property shall be and hereby is changed from an R3 to R1. The Director of Planning and Zoning shall make the appropriate changes to the official map of the city. This ordinance shall be effective immediately upon enactment following second reading and a publication in accordance with the requirements of applicable Kentucky law.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. That's the reading of ordinance 24-17. This is the second reading. May we have a motion, please, to bring to the floor for discussion and approval?
So moved.
Commissioner Cole?
Second.
Commissioner Newby, is there any discussion? Question, comment? There being none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Newby?
Yes.
Commissioner Brewer?
Yes.
Commissioner Cole?
Yes.
Commissioner Goble?
Yes.
Mayor Blythe?
Yes, thank you. Ordinance 24-18, ordinance of the City of Richmond, Kentucky, changing the zoning classification for the property located on 509 North 3rd Street and 235 Broadway Avenue within the city limits. This is a second reading. We will vote. Madam Clerk, please.
Whereas DCW Investments LLC owner has filed with the Richmond Planning and Zoning Commission an application for a zoning map amendment for 509 North 3rd Street and 235 Broadway Avenue, 1.69 acres. And whereas the property is currently zoned B1 Neighborhood Business and is requesting a change to an I1 Light Industry. And whereas the Planning and Zoning Commission conducted a public hearing on July 17th, in which it received evidence and testimony of persons in favor of or opposed to the requested zone change. At the conclusion of the public hearing, the commission voted to recommend that the zone change be granted. And whereas the Planning and Zoning Commission at its meeting adopted written findings of facts as to the zone change and is requiring a minor consolidation plat to combine the two properties, and the issue is now before the Board of Commissioners for final determination. And whereas the Board of Commissioners believes it to be in the public interest that it adopts the recommendation of the Planning and Zoning Commission in accordance with the findings of facts adopted by that body. Now therefore be it ordained that the Board of Commissioners does hereby adopt the recommendation of the Richmond Planning and Zoning Commission as to the requested zone change for DCW Investments LLC, Tracts 1 and 2, 1.69 acres, Deed Book 842, page 386. The Board of Commissioners does hereby adopt the written findings of facts adopted by the Planning and Zoning as its findings of facts. In accordance with those findings, the zone for the said property, B1 Neighborhood Business, shall be changed to I1 Light Industry contingent on a minor consolidation plat combining the two properties. The Director of the Planning and Zoning shall make the appropriate zone changes to the map. This ordinance shall become effective immediately upon enactment following second reading and publication in accordance with the requirements of applicable Kentucky law.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. This is the reading of ordinance 24-18. May we have a motion, please, to bring to the floor for discussion and approval?
So moved.
Commissioner Cole?
Second.
Commissioner Newby, is there any discussion, question, comment? last time, Madam Clerk.
That's
Madam
okay.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Brewer,
Yes.
Commissioner Cole,
Yes.
Commissioner Goble,
Yes.
Commissioner Newby,
Yes.
Mayor Blythe.
Yes, thank you. Ordinance 24-19, an ordinance of the City of Richmond levying an ad valorem tax for the 2024 year upon all properties situated in the city that is subject to taxation. This is a first reading. Madam Clerk, please.
Whereas the City of Richmond does levy an ad valorem tax yearly upon property situated within the city that is subject to taxation, and whereas the tax rate has been calculated and reviewed. Now therefore be it ordained by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners that there is hereby levied upon all property real, personal, situated within the corporate limits of the City of Richmond, having a taxable status in said city, which is a taxable by the city for city purposes for the 2024 year, an ad valorem tax fixed on each $100 worth of said property, as the value thereof has been determined in a manner required by law as follows. The ad valorem tax for personal property for the City of Richmond General Fund 2024 year shall be at a rate of 15.3 cents for each $100 worth of said property. The ad valorem tax for real property for the City of Richmond General Fund for the 2024 year shall be set at a rate of 12.1 cents on each $100 worth of said property. The ad valorem for motor vehicles for the 2024 to be collected by the Madison County Court Clerk shall be at a rate of 28.7 cents on each $100 assessed as follows for general fund, 28.7 cents. There shall be a 2% discount on all tax bills paid prior to November 1st. The face amount will be due on November 1st, 2024 until December 31st, 2024. A penalty of 10% shall be added to all taxes and assessments remaining unpaid after January 1, 2025. At that, such taxes and assessments shall bear interest at the rate of 15% from January 1, 2025 until paid. This ordinance shall become effective immediately upon second reading, adoption, and publication by the Richmond City Board of Commissioners.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. This again is a first reading of ordinance 24-19. May we have a motion, please, to bring to the floor for discussion?
So moved.
Commissioner Goble, Commissioner Brewer. Is there any discussion? Madam Finance Director, anything that you want to add at this time as we begin our discussion, this meeting and the next?
It's just, we're taking the compensating rate, and it provides approximately the same amount of income as last year. And on an overall basis, it actually, the rate last year was 12.5, went down to 12.1. So actually, everyone's individual rate went down about $3 per hundred. So,
Thank you, thank you. That's good news, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, the tax rate will actually go down, but we'll actually collect a little more, won't we? Bottom line, because there's more houses and such to collect on.
Thank you, sir. All righty. Any further discussion? Again, this is first reading, and we will take care of the rest then in our next meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sharon. Ordinance 24-20. An ordinance of the City of Richmond, Kentucky, amending ordinance 18-11 pertaining to the Richmond Codes Enforcement Board and Demolition Administration Standards. This is a first reading. Mr. City Manager, please.
Whereas the city in sections 35-165 through 35-175 of the City of Richmond, Kentucky Code of Ordinances has enacted an ordinance creating and governing the City Codes Enforcement Board, and whereas the city adopted ordinance 22-26, which included the 2021 International Property Maintenance Code Manual to govern codes officials. After review, the city needs to amend ordinance 1811 with sections of the code to reflect demolition administration standards. Now therefore be ordained that, and if you don't mind, if it pleases the board, I'll just summarize section One, basically what we've done, no language has changed in the ordinance. It's just updating the new chapter number. So you're going from chapters 110 to chapter 113, but no language has changed in the ordinance. This ordinance shall become effective immediately upon its enactment following second reading and publication in accordance with the requirements of applicable Kentucky law.
Thank you, sir. That's a reading of summary of ordinance 24-20. This is a first reading, so may we have a motion, please, to bring to the floor for discussion.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Cole, Commissioner Newby, is there any discussion? Nothing further, Mr. City Manager?
No,
All right.
just a formality, housekeeping.
All right, thank you, sir. Again, this is first reading, second reading in our next meeting. Ordinance 24-21, ordinance of the City of Richmond, Kentucky, amending ordinance number 13-20 and 19-13 pertaining to the powers and duties of the city's safety officer. This is a first reading. Mr. City Manager, please.
Whereas the city, by ordinance number 1320, did create the position of city safety officer and set forth the powers and duties of that position, and whereas the Board of Commissioners finds that it is in the public interest to amend that ordinance in the particulars hereinafter set forth so as to permit the safety officer to perform a duty not authorized by the provisions of ordinance number 13-20 and 19-13. Now therefore be it ordained that section 2, subpart H of ordinance number 19-13 is hereby amended to read in its entirety as follows. Investigate and report on non-injury and minor injury traffic collisions. Safety officers who have completed at least 240 hours of training in collision reconstruction and have been authorized by the Chief of Police may investigate and report on serious physical injury or fatal traffic collisions. This ordinance shall become effective immediately upon its enactment by the Board of Commissioners following second reading and publication in accordance with the requirements of applicable Kentucky law.
Thank you, sir. This is the first reading of ordinance 24-21. May we have a motion, please, to bring to the floor for discussion?
So moved.
Commissioner Brewer,
Second.
Commissioner Goebel. Just one question here. Will this require additional training, for example, for those who are safety officers at this point? Or?
I'll let Chief answer that.
Okay.
Chief Richardson.
Thank you. Mayor, no, it will not. Originally, the statute would not allow a safety officer to work an injury collision unless they had collision reconstruction certification. What we ran into was some motor vehicle collisions, there's always a complaint of pain. If there is a complaint of pain, then that has to be marked as an injury collision, which did not allow that safety officer to investigate that collision and complete the report. They would in turn have to call an officer to do that. And that happens quite often. It's just we have to record that when it happens for insurance purposes. But the only change is just that will allow them to work those minor injury collisions that, like I discussed, but they still would have to have the collision reconstruction certification in order to work a major or fatality.
Do they get that through the academy, the 240 extra hours? Is that what it is?
No, we actually get that training through the state police. They're the ones who provide it to us, the certification. I wish we could get that there, but.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
Yeah, it would be. It's pretty intensive training.
Yeah.
And the officers that complete that course really go through quite a bit. So it's the 240 hours is a lot.
Yeah.
But this ordinance would also maybe free up your officers.
It will.
To do other stuff.
It will
that
assist
maybe-
us a great deal, actually. Yes,
Especially on the scene.
absolutely. Yeah.
How many safety officers do we have now, Chief?
3.
That's what I was
Three.
just about to ask.
Yeah, we have 3. We have slotted for 3, and we have 2 actively working right now. We're preparing to hire a 3rd one. We've already conducted interviews, and there'll be something sent after the background's complete. We'll send that forward to you guys for approval.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
That's ordinance 24-21. This is the first reading, second reading in our next meeting. Ordinance 24-22, an ordinance of the City of Richmond amending the annual budget for the ARPA, American Rescue Plan Act, municipal aid, park project, and capital projects for the City of Richmond fiscal year 2025, estimating revenues and resources and appropriating funds for the operations of city government. This is a first reading. Mr. City Manager, please, and the Finance Director.
I'm going to have Sharon read the ordinance, and then we'll answer any questions you have.
Thank you, sir.
Whereas a budget proposal has been prepared and delivered to the City Commission, and whereas the City Commission has reviewed the budget proposal and necessary modifications have been completed as recommended, now therefore be it ordained by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners that the amended budget for municipal aid, ARPA, Parks Project, and capital projects for the fiscal year beginning July the 1st, 2024, and ending June the 30th, 2025, is hereby presented as follows. An estimated balance carried forward for our Parks Project is $11,260,820. Our income, locally generated income, is $10,460,000 for total resources for appropriations of $21,720,820. Our expected appropriations is $21,621,820 with estimated balance as June the 30th, 2025 of $99,000. In our capital projects, our balance forward is $5,500,000. Our locally generated revenue is $2,115,269. State and federal funds, $450,000 for total resources for appropriation of $8,065,269. Our appropriations are $5,186,338, leaving us an ending balance of $2,878,931. In our ARPA fund, our balance forward is $2,316,294. That is the total resources for appropriations, and our expected appropriations are $2,316,294, leaving zero balance as of June the 30th of 25. In our municipal aid program, our balance forward is $150,000. State and federal funds is $812,441 with total resources for appropriation of $962,441. Our appropriations is $910,000, leaving an estimated ending balance as of 6/30/25 of $52,441. The 2025 amended fiscal year budget for ARPA, municipal aid, parks project, and capital projects is hereby approved as submitted. The amounts budgeted above are hereby appropriated to the accounts indicated for the 2025 fiscal year budget. The city clerk is hereby directed to publish a copy of the fiscal year 2025 budget ordinance in accordance with KRS 424.240. The ordinance shall be in full force and effect upon second reading and adoption and publication by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners.
Anything else, Mr. City Manager, before we, all right?
No.
This is a first reading. You've heard the reading of ordinance 24-22. May we have a motion, please, to bring to the floor for discussion?
So moved.
Commissioner Cole,
Second.
Commissioner Goble. Is there any discussion?
I just wanted to do a reminder to us and to the general public that the ARPA funds are coming to an end.
That is correct. They have to be dedicated by December and spent by December of 2026, so that's a good reminder. Mayor, if I may?
Yes, sir, please.
Just a couple items I want to point out to you all. Our paving bid came in, and it's on the agenda tonight after this, and we received an additional $100,000 of our MAP tax money. And so we moved it into our paving along with $20,000 from our salt. So that'll cover all the roads we have in our paving bid. A lot of times we have to cut roads out because we don't have enough funding, but it'll cover everything this time. The other piece of this is the change in some ARPA line items. We moved $250,000 and we put it under a new line item of Unhomed and Recovery Coalition. We feel like those funds need to be at the discretion of you all, the board, to decide how that funding is dispersed. So that was one move we made. And then we also have $600,000 under capital projects for a Little League field project. And one thing that we found out with our financing, our bonding, is you borrow money at one interest rate, you put it in the bank at a higher interest rate, and that interest you earn, you need to spend, or you have to give it back. So we're maneuvering some of that around as well, which is good for Little League. They're gonna get a new turf field on Rebel Field. So that's a big.
Are they gonna start that at the end of the season, or?
Actually, we're working with MP Kelly, is doing the design work, volunteering a lot of his time to do so. So we're waiting for the specifications. We do have an advertisement out that's due next week, I believe, Madam Clerk, but we'll probably have to extend that a week or two. So it's something that will get started this fall and be completed pretty quick. And then the other thing, I think there was, let me look here. I think that was it. Those are the big items that we changed in the amendment.
All right. Any further discussion? There being none, this is again the first reading, second reading in our next meeting. Thank you, Sharon. Ordinance 24-23, an ordinance of the City of Richmond, Kentucky, amending Ordinance 23-27. Mr. City Manager, please.
Whereas the Board of Commissioners of the City of Richmond adopted ordinance number 2327 on August 22nd, 2023, which authorized the issuance of city general obligation bonds to finance the cost to acquire, construct, and equip the Richmond Regional Sports Complex. Whereas the city issued its general obligation bond series 2023 on October 5th, 2023, the proceeds of which the bonds have been utilized for the project. Whereas the city has current plans for additional capital projects, including but not limited to renovation of fields for Little League Baseball, improvements to the irrigation system at Gibson Bay Golf Course, and the acquisition of and construction of a new police station for the city. And whereas to take advantage of the cost effectiveness of tax exempt financing and provide the city with flexibility in the use of the proceeds of the bonds for additional capital projects, the city would like to expand the definition of project as defined in the bond ordinance. Now therefore be ordained by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners as follows. Section 1, amendment to Section 1 of ordinance number 2327. The definition of project in Section 1 of ordinance number 2327 is as follows. So this is the current definition. Project refers to acquisition, construction, equipping of the Richmond Regional Sports Complex to be owned and operated by the city for the benefit of the citizens. The definition of project in Section 1 of ordinance number 2327 is amended and restated to read as follows. Project refers to capital projects for the city, including but not limited to the acquisition, construction, and equipping of the Richmond Regional Sports Complex, renovation of fields for Little League Baseball, improvements to the irrigation system at Gibson Bay Golf Course, and the acquisition, construction, and equipping of a new police station for the city, all to be owned and operated by the city for the benefit of its citizens. This ordinance shall be effective immediately upon its enactment by the Board of Commissioners following second reading and publication in accordance with the requirements of applicable Kentucky law.
Thank you, sir. Just a second here. You've heard the reading of ordinance 24-23. May we have a motion, please? So this is a first reading to bring to the floor for discussion.
I move.
Commissioner Newby,
Second.
Commissioner Goble. Is there any discussion?
Mayor, if I may,
Yes, sir, please.
in the original ordinance we did for the bond issuing for the new park project, we specified that financing for that park project only. And broadening the scope of this financing allows us to use that arbitration money, that difference in interest gained, for other projects. And also, when we finance again, the scope of that money can be used for these other projects as well, and it's not just specific for that project. So that's
Not
why.
just for the sports complex, but for other projects.
That's correct, yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Any further discussion? All right, there being none, second reading will be in our next regular meeting. Order 24-107. Order of the City of Richmond promoting an employee within the Codes Enforcement Department. Madam Clerk, please.
Whereas the Codes Enforcement Department is in need of a leadership position moving forward, and whereas the position was advertised and interviews were conducted by a selection committee, and whereas the committee has recommended to promote an employee within the department who is qualified for the position, now therefore be it ordered by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners that David Scott Kaler in the Planning and Zoning Department is hereby promoted to the Codes Enforcement Coordinator effective September 6, 2024. Pay grade 7 with a one-year probationary period. At the completion will receive a $5,000 increase. Hire date was originally for a Codes Enforcement Officer in 2018. This order shall be effective immediately upon adoption by Richmond City Board of Commissioners.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. This is the reading of Order 24-107. May we have a motion, please, to bring to the floor for discussion and approval?
So move.
Commissioner Brewer,
Second.
Commissioner Goble. Is there any discussion? Let me just make sure for clarification. At present, that department is termed Planning and Zoning Department. Is that what we've got here?
It's actually codes enforcement, so we've separated those departments into, we're gonna call building codes, actually building inspections, so it's a little more clarification. You have codes enforcement, planning and zoning, and then safety and risk management, but you're correct in that this is for codes enforcement, not planning and zoning.
Yep.
Right.
Okay.
Good catch.
You know why now, Rob?
The profession in it.
All those many months I talked about that mega department. So we've finally gotten that mega department broken down into
There's
some.
no more mega.
Yeah, yes, indeed. So then I just totally got lost there. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Any further discussion? There being none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Ayes have it and so ordered. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Order 24-108, an order of the City of Richmond accepting a bid for renovation of an on-course bathroom at Gibson Bay Golf Course. Madam Clerk, please.
Whereas the on-course bathroom located at Gibson Bay Golf Course is needed to be renovated on the exterior and interior of the structure, and whereas the city advertised for bids on August 3rd and has received 2 bids and 1 proposal which met all specification has been determined to be the best. Now therefore be it ordered by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners that the Gibson Bay bathroom project is awarded to First Call Construction of Richmond, Kentucky in the total amount of $24,780. Funding for the project will be out of the Golf Pro Capital Outlay Building Projects. The submitted bid is hereby attached to the order. The mayor is hereby authorized to execute the contract and said by his signature to make a contract with binding agreement between the parties. This order shall become effective immediately upon adoption by the Richmond City Board of Commissioners.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. That's Order 24-108. May we have a motion, please, bring to the floor for discussion and approval?
I move.
Commissioner Newby,
Second.
Commissioner Brewer. Is there any discussion? Anything? All right. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. So ordered, Madam Clerk. Order 24-109, an order of the City of Richmond accepting a bid for a sign fabrication machine for the Public Works Department. Madam Clerk, please.
Whereas the City of Richmond has advertised and accepted bids for the purchase of an equipment that will enhance the operation in the Public Works Department, and whereas advertising twice, one bid was received and after review met all specifications. Now therefore be it ordered by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners that the purchase of a sign fabrication machine is awarded to Osborne Associates, Inc. of Logan, Ohio, in the total amount of $47,413. Funding will be allocated to the Public Works Capital Outlay Equipment. Items will include a printer, roll laminator, and software. This order shall be effective immediately upon passage by the Richmond City Board of Commissioners.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. That's Order 24-109. May we have a motion, please, bring to the floor for discussion and approval?
So moved.
Commissioner Brewer,
Second.
Commissioner Goble. Is there any discussion? There being none, all in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Ayes have it, and so ordered. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Order 24-110, an order of the City of Richmond hiring a park safety officer for the police department. Madam Clerk, please.
Whereas there is a need for a park safety officer in the police department, and whereas the position was advertised and interviews conducted, and whereas the city manager has recommended a hire of this qualified applicant. Now therefore be it ordered by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners that the following individuals hired contingent upon their successful completion of the city's pre-employment requirements and background checks as an at-will park security officer for the police department effective September 2nd, pay grade 1, Austin Miller. The order shall be in full force and effect upon reading and adoption by the Richmond City Board of Commissioners.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. You've heard the reading of Order 24-110. May we have a motion, please, bring to the floor for discussion and approval?
I move.
Commissioner Newby
Second.
and Commissioner Cole. Is there any discussion? There being none, all in favor of the motion, please say aye. All opposed, no. Ayes have it, and so ordered, Madam Clerk.
You want to read this one?
Okay.
Oh, okay. We're okay. We're good. Sorry.
Tyler's feeling left out. He has no reading assignments.
Yeah. He's over
We
here
can certainly
begging to
change
read.
that.
So sad.
All right, how about page 4, the next 12 orders? You can read those, Mr. Attorney.
Are you saying you want to read this one? No, you're in the next one. Never mind. Okay.
Okay. Order 24-111, an order of the City of Richmond, Kentucky approving fiscal year 2024 through 2025 charitable grant applications. Mr. City Manager, please.
Whereas the city received various applicants for charitable grants, and whereas Kentucky law permits the city, at the discretion of the Board of Commissioners, to make charitable grants to organizations provided, however, that such grant monies be used in furtherance of the public purpose, and that the grant recipient manage grant monies in such a way to ensure that they are in fact expended in the furtherance of such public purpose, and whereas the city typically includes in its annual budget a specific amount appropriated for charitable grants, and throughout the fiscal year receives applications from various organizations for such grants, and now therefore it be ordered that the charitable donations, let me start over there. Now therefore it be ordered that the charitable donation applications for fiscal year 24-25 have been reviewed by the city manager's office and presented to the Board of Commissioners on August 15, 2024, which resulted in the funds allocated. The attached applications and funding are hereby approved. This order shall be in full force and effect upon reading and adoption by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners.
Thank you, Mr. City Manager. That's Order 24-111. May we have a motion, please, bring to the floor for discussion and approval?
So moved.
Commissioner Brewer,
Second.
Commissioner Goble. Let me make one comment, then, Mr. City Manager, if you want to say anything else, and anyone else. But just, I appreciate that you presented it to us in this way, simply because never has it been secretive and non-transparent. Just sometimes things can look as though, so I appreciate that the full board was involved in this discussion and making the determinations, and appreciate also that we didn't just dispense all of the funds, because there may be along the way, we're only in, August, so there may be along the way some things that we determine would really be great needs, and we'll be able to
We're
respond.
much more comfortable doing it this way, presenting it to you all and you all approving it. And usually the work session before like this helps, so you all can give us some recommendations like Jim had with moving some stuff around, so.
Yes, sir. Any further discussion? All right, there being none, all in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Ayes have it, so ordered. Madam Clerk, the record can reflect the same. Thank you. Let's see here. The next 12 will be read by the attorney. No. But the next one does, right? 112, Order 24-112, order of the Board of Commissioners of the City of Richmond, Kentucky, directing that the Human Resource Department expand the city's insurance plans to Richmond Housing Authority. That's probably extend, isn't it? I would think.
Yeah.
Extend
Yeah, okay.
the city's insurance plans to the Richmond Housing Authority. Mr. Attorney, please.
Whereas the Richmond Housing Authority has requested to join the city's various insurance plans for its employees, and whereas the city has considered the request and finds it in the public interest that this quasi-department offer the same benefits to their employees, now therefore be it ordered by the Board of Commissioners that the Human Resources Department is hereby directed to transition the Richmond Housing Authority to its city-sponsored insurance plans, which will include the following: health insurance, dental insurance, and any other products offered by our life insurance provider. Open enrollment period shall be held in September for their 10 to 15 employees, with coverage effective from October 1st, 2024 to June 30th, 2025. After this period, they will align with the city's fiscal year schedule, July 1st through June 30th. The Richmond Housing Authority shall have its own benefits portal on Employee Navigator for all billing separate. This order shall be in full force and effect upon reading and adoption by the Richmond Board of Commissioners.
Thank you, sir. That's Order 24-112. May we have a motion, please, bring the floor for discussion and approval?
I move.
Commissioner Newby,
Second.
Commissioner Brewer, is there any discussion?
Mayor, if I may.
Yes, sir, please.
I know you chair that board, and we would treat this as we do tourism, Section 8 housing, Richmond Industrial Development Corporation. I just want to make sure that it was discussed when that board approved this, the understanding that they would pay per employee the cost of it was $650 per employee per month, and I think it's gone to $680. Was that discussed and
Yes, sir.
understood?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
Sharon and I had that discussion today, and we just wanted to make sure that they were aware of that expense, so.
Susan was here, but yes,
Okay,
that's,
Yeah, that was my only clarification that I needed from Rob. That's not going to cost the city
no,
additional funding.
no.
that's
Well,
right.
we should just be clear, though, it's not going to cost us any direct money. We don't, because of HIPAA, we don't know any medical conditions of anyone, and so indirect costs, may be there or may not be there, but for the direct costs, it will be absorbed by the agency, right?
That's correct.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you, yeah. Any further discussion? There being none, all in favor of the motion to adopt, please say aye. opposed, no. Ayes have it, so ordered, Madam Clerk. Order 24-113, an order of the City of Richmond accepting a resignation in the Police Department. Madam Clerk, please.
Whereas Adam Patterson in the Police Department has submitted his resignation notice to the city, now therefore be it ordered by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners accepts the resignation of Adam Patterson from the Police Department effective August 28th. The Board of Commissioners would like to thank him for his service since 2019. This order shall be effective immediately upon adoption by the Richmond City Board of Commissioners.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. That's Order 24-113. May we have a motion, please, bring to the floor for discussion and approval?
I move.
Commissioner Newby?
Second.
Commissioner Goble, is there any discussion? Any discussion? Certainly we add our appreciation, commendations. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Thank you. So done, Madam Clerk. Order 24-114, an order of the City of Richmond hiring a candidate for the Police Department. Madam Clerk, please.
Whereas the City of Richmond is in need of police officers to meet the needs of the citizens, and whereas a recommendation of hire has been made by Police Chief Richardson, now therefore be it ordered by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners that the following individual is hired as police officer for the City of Richmond contingent on satisfactory completion of all requisite background checks, effective at such time that they report to the Department of Criminal Justice Training. At the rate will be based on the fiscal year budget 24-25 police pay scale, pay grade 4, effective on September 2nd, 2024. This individual will complete a 20-week training course at DOCJT when slots become available and will serve a probationary period of 18 months. Rodney Haddix. This order is in full force and effect upon reading and adoption by the Richmond City Board of Commissioners.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. That's Order 24-114. May we have a motion, please, to bring to the floor for discussion and approval?
So moved.
Commissioner
Second.
Goble, Commissioner Brewer. Is there any discussion? There being none, all in favor of the motion to adopt, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Record shall so reflect. Order 24-115, an order of the City of Richmond hiring employees for the Public Works Department. Madam Clerk, please.
Whereas the Public Works Department is in need of additional staff due to the increase in workload, and whereas the positions were advertised and interviews conducted, and whereas the city manager has recommended the hire for these positions, now therefore be it ordered by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners that the following individuals are hired contingent upon their successful completion of the city's pre-employment requirements as for the Public Works Department effective September 3rd. Equipment Operator 1, pay grade 2. Christopher Mullins, David Thomas, Peyton Elks. Laborer 1, pay grade 1. Austin Hall. These are at-will employees and will serve a one-year probationary period. This order shall be in full force and effect upon reading and adoption by the Richmond City Board of Commissioners.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. That's Order 24-115. May we have a motion, please, bring to the floor for discussion and approval?
I move.
Commissioner Newby.
Second.
Commissioner Cole, is there any discussion? There being none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Ayes have it, and so ordered, Madam Clerk. Order 24-116, an order of the City of Richmond awarding a bid for street paving. Mr. City Manager, please.
Whereas the City of Richmond has accepted bids for the pavement of various streets in the city, and whereas one bid was received and determined the best proposal for the city, now therefore be ordered by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners, the street paving bid is awarded to the Allen Company Incorporated in the amount of $624,819.40. A public hearing was held on August 27th, 2024 at 5 p.m. for KRS 174-100, which citizens were able to attend and submit comments. Funding for paving will be from the city's municipal road fund. The submitted bid is hereby attached to the order. This order shall take effect upon reading and passage of the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners.
Thank you, sir. That's Order 24-116. May we have a motion, please? Bring to the floor for discussion and approval.
So moved.
Commissioner Cole?
Second.
Commissioner Goble. Is there any discussion? Let's see. The list is included here.
Yes, sir. I know you had mentioned some streets after we had received bids, but we might be able to look at those at a later date, Mayor.
Yes,
And I
thank you.
encourage everyone, you know, on my monthly updates, if you think of a street, just respond to me so I get it on the list.
Thank you. Appreciate that, yeah.
Keep a running list.
I happened to mention to the city manager that one street in particular that I thought whose condition, that half of it has been paved over the past couple of years, but the other half is in such bad condition, I think it actually fosters a poor attitude for those perhaps who would live on that street and those even who would travel. So we'll take a look at it. Any other discussion? There being none, Order 24-116, all in favor, please say aye. All opposed, no. Okay.
We're almost there.
I was thinking about you. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, let's see here. Order 24-117, an order of the City of Richmond declaring property surplus and providing for its disposition. Madam Clerk, please.
Whereas pursuant to ordinance chapter 34.02, disposition of surplus for the city personal property, declares a list of property which shall be submitted monthly to the city manager and then submitted to the mayor and city commission for classification of the surplus property. Now therefore be it ordered by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners that the August 2024 property described by the list as submitted by the Administration Department, which is attached hereto, is declared surplus and no longer needed by the city and is not suitable for purchase for which it was intended. Number two, it is hereby authorized that this property is disposed by govdeals.com and submitted to the city manager's office. This order shall be in full force and effect upon reading and adoption by the Richmond City Board of Commissioners.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. That's Order 24-117. May we have the motion, please? Bring to the floor for discussion and approval.
I move.
Commissioner Newby,
Second.
Commissioner Brewer. Is there any discussion?
Mayor, these are the
Yes, sir.
old street poles and lights that we took down on Main Street, and we may advertise that locally in the newspaper as well, because I think there's some interest from some different institutions to reuse those. So we may just use a local advertisement and Gov Deals to get rid of them, because I think we have 92 of them. If that's okay with everybody.
All right, fine. Thank you, sir. Any other discussion? This is Order 24-117. There's no further discussion. All in favor of the motion to adopt, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. All righty, thank you, Madam Clerk. So ordered.
Last order for the night.
Is there one?
There's one left.
Just know there's a lot of ordinances that had a first reading.
Yeah.
They're all coming up.
That's right, yes, indeed.
You're
Yes,
pushing my heart and mind.
yes, yeah, that's right. Tasty Tuesdays, they've been trying to get out of here. Order 24-118, an order of the City of Richmond accepting a resignation by a member of the Richmond Industrial Development Corporation, or IDC, and appointing a replacement member. Madam Clerk, please.
Whereas Randy Perry, a member on the Richmond Industrial Development Corporation, has submitted his resignation notice, and whereas Jack Kelly has displayed an interest in serving and has made a commitment to attend all meetings. Now therefore be it ordered by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners regarding the Richmond Industrial Development Corporation that, 1, accepts the resignation of Randy Perry effective immediately, 2, appoints Jack Kelly as a replacement member for the remaining term expiring February 12, 2026. This order shall be in full force and effect upon reading and adoption by the Richmond City Board of Commissioners.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. That's Order 24-118. May we have a motion, please, bring to the floor for discussion and approval?
So moved.
Commissioner Cole?
Second.
Commissioner Goble, is there any discussion? Just a quick question. David, that leaves one vacancy on that board, is that right? Yes. Thank you, sir. Further discussion? There being none, all in favor of the motion to adopt, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. Ayes have it and so ordered. Thank you. This is public comments period. Is there anyone, first of all, Madam Clerk, has anyone posted the office regarding, all right, there being none, is there anyone in the audience tonight who's here to make public comments? All right, come to the podium, please. State your name for the clerk, for the record, and
It's George Childs. I've just got a few opinions, questions. No questions, I know I'm not allowed to ask those. When a developer clears trees and brush from a development, can they be in an ordinance or some contracted to take them and have them turned into mulch rather than burning them and having the smoke and the ash fly all over the neighborhoods?
let me say this, first of all, Mr. Childs, is that
Yes.
right? As a matter, the public comments period is not for questions.
I know.
So you said we don't have to answer these, you don't expect an answer at this time?
No.
If we can get these down then for the record, just make sure everyone understands. Yes, sir.
I know you're not allowed to
Excuse
ask
the
a
interruption.
question, I just phrased it wrong. And someone has spoke of having a no left turn sign onto Main Street from CVS parking lot. I feel it shouldn't be that hard to put a no left turn sign on the existing stop sign. I also agree with Mr. Brewer about the $500,000 that was allocated to the PDI grant. I feel the money should have stayed in Richmond. We should be able to develop our own industrial park. We have a site, too. And I feel that all the property zoning changes recommended by the Planning and Zoning Commission are always approved by the city commissioners without looking where they are located or whether or not they meet the criteria for the City of Richmond Comprehensive Plan. For example, you okayed a zone change to housing on Concord Road, all 52, and then you just changed another zone, which was approved for 77 acres on Irvin Road, which is not far from Concord. And you've okayed an upscale apartment complex at Richmond Center. You have single-family housing at Parkview Hangar Farms. Another mile up near Tate's Creek, you had something that was R1, which got changed to R1, R2, R3. You currently zone, I think it was like 50 acres over Hampton Way. Goggins Lane in this area over there is going to be packed a little bit too much. And by the Planning and Zoning Commission, I understand you'll soon be asked to approve a zone change from agricultural to R1C and R2 on 207 acres on Hampton Way. In my opinion, that change should be to R1 only. I feel strongly that the impact of this growth on your current infrastructure, one hospital, schools, some that are already to capacity, will create more frustration and congestion in our city. Think of how crowded some roads will be when a few of these developments are completed. It will take an emergency vehicle a long time to travel through even more crowded streets. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Childs. Anyone else here tonight for public comment? Mr. City Manager, please.
I just have two items tonight. The first one is Paradise Cove closes on Monday, Labor Day, and all indications are we've had a record year out there, so that's good. Second item is we have the safety and risk management specialist position is closed, so we've got, I think, 7 applications for it to qualify. And then we've got the candidates qualified for the assistant city manager position. Really, the next step is I need to get with you all and coordinate some times and dates for those interviews. So I'll be reaching out to you all as a group and coordinating some times probably after 3:30, so everybody can participate. So may not happen next week, but be looking for times and dates and then weeks after that sometime. We're getting there. We've had a very, very busy, since I've been here, this has been one of the busiest Julys and Augusts we've had, wouldn't you say, Madam Clerk?
Yes, sir.
Yep, it's been busy. We like it. Giving me gray hair.
I hear you. Thank you for.
That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you for what you do, though, Mr. City Manager. Commissioner Cole?
Yeah, I just, a couple things. You know, David Stipes is here and works closely with our Richmond Industrial Development Corporation. And I just don't want to leave any misconception that that group is not doing their job. They're working diligently with our industrial parks here in Richmond to recruit industry. You know, it's not easy to recruit industry, especially of the size that we're looking for and with the, you know, that meets the specifications. So I just want to thank our own Richmond Industrial Development Corporation. You know, we appointed a new member tonight. I think it's always good to have new folks coming in and new ideas and that kind of thing. But I just want to make sure that people realize that the Richmond Industrial Development Corporation is working every workday to recruit industry and to make sure that we have good paying jobs here in Richmond. So I just want to thank RIDC and David for what they do. And I know you're working it hard and it will come to fruition. I kind of think of it in my mind as it's almost like a marriage. You have to have the industry who wants to come to Richmond, and then you have to have the Richmond who is a good fit for them. So that's not an easy process, but I just want people to know that we're working it, and David is working with potential industry and with the state of Kentucky, with the Economic Development Cabinet, to make sure that we're realizing every dollar of matching funds that's out there and making sure that the land that we have is ready for industry. And I think in the near future, we're going to be even promoting that more than we are even now, with maybe some updated photos and videos and that kind of thing. But anyway, I appreciate what you guys are doing and just wanted to say that. That's all, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Cole. Commissioner Brewer?
Well, yesterday I spent some time with David. I guess it's your raising your horn up today, but he clarified some information for me that I felt like I needed and that perhaps I can pass along, and we'll all, I know Commissioner Newby has talked to him before in the past about some things, so I look forward to seeing what's going to happen out there now that we got some new ground broke and ready to build on. And I guess that came out in the paper today, didn't it? Yeah, good. So, and I see my lady friends in the front here that we met with, and they gave me some, you guys gave me some information to do, and I turned that over to Rob, our city manager, and he's been working with that, and I've talked to the mayor about it also, so we'll get you taken care of.
Thank you.
All right. And that's all I got.
All righty. Commissioner Goble?
I'm good.
All righty. Commissioner Newby?
Don't have anything, sir.
All right, let me mention these things quickly. And I forgot when it was now. The Congressman's office, Congressman Barr's office, Representative District 6, has Congressional District 6, excuse me, wanted us to mention, and Lisa, do you happen to recall when the representative is here? We'll make sure in the next meeting we mention that they asked that we would announce
I had it
City
in my
Manager.
phone at one time, Craig Shockley.
Craig Shockley,
He's
yes.
at the library, and I would like to think I could find it real quick.
While the courthouse is being renovated, he's using the library for anyone who has a matter with the congressman's office. We'll make sure that that gets out. But they asked that we would continue to announce that for them when he was here last week. Let me also mention that on Saturday and Sunday of this past weekend. That was the official weekend for the reenactment of the Battle of Richmond, held out at the Battlefield Park, and I was able to be with them both times just to see what kinds of attendance there is, participation. There are people that come literally from everywhere, and I was able to address the aspects of history, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But the point is, that's a big matter. That's a big deal, and certainly happy that now that we have possession of the park, of the battlefield, that it allows us to help a little bit more in producing what we produce there for that reenactment.
Mayor, I found that
Yes, sir.
note. It's the second Monday from noon to 1 at the library.
The second Monday from noon to 1 at the Madison County Public Library. Greg Shockley, who is the field representative for Congressman Barr's office, is here to address whatever matters there are regarding the Congressman's office. Certainly, they do try to provide considerable service with respect to the needs of our veterans. So we want to make sure that you're aware that they're there. The second Monday, noon to 1. Thank you, sir. Let me also mention with respect to our Battle of Richmond Center, the Visitor Center, beginning September 3, Close Shave September. Drop off packages of new disposable razors for the less fortunate between Tuesday the 3rd and Monday, September 30. They can be dropped off here at City Hall or at the Battle of Richmond Visitor Center, which is at the split out there on Battlefield Memorial Highway, 421-25 split. The razors will be donated to organizations helping those battling addiction, to help raise their self-esteem, and to rejoin society. There's a number for anyone who has questions, but one of those fine projects that's organized by the Visitor Center, again, out there at Battlefield Memorial Parkway, Highway. First Christian Church has asked that we would announce that while this weather is what it is, Tuesday through Friday from noon to 5 p.m., a cooling center. And certainly I'm sure there are people who would need to use that. But a cooling center, First Christian Church, 412 West Main, cooling center. So if you know someone perhaps who needs to come in and out of the weather, and I mean that very seriously, you can let them know that in the downtown area, First Christian Church, here on the corner, in fact, Tuesday through Friday, noon to 5 p.m. Tasty Tuesday tonight, if I would stop talking, right? Let me mention this, and this is the final thing. I don't often reference communications that I receive, particularly when they're negative. But I did receive a communication, and the sad thing is that it was based on a misunderstanding. The city of Richmond, I think there was a matter that we had, one of the orders tonight, but the city of Richmond is not in charge of, is not responsible for, does not run the Richmond Little League. We participate in that. The Little League program does its work, it does its games, et cetera, on the city's fields. And I got a good cleaning out for what you're not doing for the Richmond Little League.
He forwarded it to me.
And I forwarded
Good.
it to the city manager. But after I had returned the cleaning, I don't mind being blamed for the things that I do. I want this young man, I want the scout to know that. I don't mind being blamed for things that I do. But when someone just, but based on a misunderstanding.
Yeah, that's right.
And I simply said to the lady, it was a lady, I simply told her, though, that her information was erroneous. She said a few other things. I said, I don't take threats too lightly.
But for clarity, Mayor, that's.
Yes, sir.
That partnership is, Little League is a 501c that has an authority board that operates Little League Baseball. The city owns the
Yes, sir.
property and maintains the fields. And Little League also has invested money in scoreboards and
Yes,
press
yes,
boxes. And
yes,
so
yes.
it's a partnership.
It's a partnership.
But we have nothing to do with the operation of the actual Little League program.
I want to say to our scout tonight, Breyer, the mayor was not ugly. He was taken as having responded ugly, but he was not ugly. I just simply said, you did not give us a number. Please call the office if you would like to talk about the matter further, okay? In so many words. Yep. Hearts and minds clear? Hearts, minds, and stomach, right?
It's Jim's bedtime, we gotta hurry up.
His bedtime.
He goes to bed early.
All right. Thank you all so much for tonight and handling the agenda as efficiently as you have done so. I appreciate that. All hearts and minds are clear. We will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Cole, Commissioner Newby. Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Goble,
Yes.
Commissioner Newby,
Yes.
Commissioner Brewer,
Yes.
Commissioner Cole.
Yes.
Mayor Blythe.
Yes, thank you. You all have a good evening.